Hi, my name's Christine. I'm a demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I made a gorgeous window card, shaker card, sorry, which has little goodies inside, using the awesome new Brilliant Rainbow dies and the coordinating stamp set, which is the Rainbow of Happiness. So these two items come together as a bundle in the new spring mini catalog. Let me show you the dies. They are phenomenal. I always add a magnetic sheet behind my dies because I just find it easier than fussing with the tape that they come on. But anyways, this is all of them. So there's this pretty border die, the large one, which we'll use today, this mini one. This one is nice for, you can use it as a label as well. Some more little extra pieces and some clouds. And during Celebration, which is on now, up until the end of February, you can get the Sunshine and Rainbows paper. Sorry, lots of scraps here already. This coordinates with the bundle, and it's got beautiful rainbows and bright colors. And this one here can be cut out with the dies, which is fun. And it's so pretty. Love, love, love. So we're going to use this paper as well on the card. I used it on this card here, this blue pattern. That's Pool Party. And so, yeah, I'm excited. So this is a bit finicky. I'm hoping I don't run into too many issues. So bringing in my other palette, if we will. So the shimmery is new as well. That is the Supple Shimmer specialty paper. So there's a pink sheet and this sort of iridescent whitish with the really pretty, I don't know, Pool Party, Bermuda Bay. What's the other one? Coastal Cabana, I think, would be the coordinating, but it's like white with the little flecks. So cool. So we're going to be using that as the top of our rainbow. We're going really bright with this one. You'll notice that I used one stripe of it on this other card. So the thing is, when you cut out with the big die, you end up with multiple pieces of each color that you're cutting out. And you can also use the negative piece as I used on here. So I kept the negative piece for the pink because I wanted the stripe on the other card, but that left me with this really cool opportunity to use more. So enough talking, let's get crafting. So I've already cut out my acetate sheet as well, all of my pieces here. Acetate sheets tend to be, or window sheets, tend to be a little bit staticky. That's okay. So the first thing I want to do is adhere the window sheet to this piece. So I'm going to flip this one down. I'm going to use my double-sided tape to do that. That's my tear tape, which is really strong, super good adhesive. So that's the reason I'm using it, is it is a very good adhesive. The only thing is I've got some really snug pieces, so I'm going to show you how to get around those challenges. And actually, it's not a huge deal because once this is adhered, it's really about keeping a strong seal with the acetate, which we will do using the adhesive strips, which I'll show you as well if you haven't used those. So I don't want to use a liquid glue because it is it's not going to adhere well, but you can see that you might be able to see actually that my strips are a little bit on the wide side. That's okay. I'm going to put them down anyway, and when I peel off the top, I'm just going to tuck the rest of it in, but I don't want to use a ton. This is really just to make sure it stays together on the top and then it doesn't floop around. Okay, so I'm just going to put one over here because this is a sensitive corner as well. Okay, So now I'm going to peel the tops off of all of this. So I perhaps when I cut this should have made a slightly wider border around, but anyways, I didn't. So we're going to work with what we've got here. I don't have the exact measurement of this. I believe it's 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. I should know that because I just measured to get the acetate. So what I did with the window sheet is I cut it just a tiny, like an 1/8 of an inch smaller than the outline of my piece here, because I don't want it poking out. So now I'm going to try to attach it. And this piece is going to want to fly up to it, as I've learned, because this is staticky. So the main thing is I don't want any gaps. All right, I made it. So I didn't want any gaps between the pattern and the acetate. So now we've got the window underneath it, see-through, which is awesome. Now the other trick that I've got is when you cut out your paper, you could put the adhesive sheets on the back, and then it turns this into a sticker, which makes it a lot easier to stick down to your card base or your first layer, however you want to go about doing this. I didn't do that. So what I'm going to do, excuse me, is I'm going to use washi tape. And I want to be able to position these pieces in the right spot so that when I put them on this page, they're actually where they belong. So to do that, I've lost the end of my washi tape. I'm using washi tape because it's not going to, oh my goodness, where is the end? Here it is. It's not going to ruin the paper. So I'm going to put a few pieces down. And this is just to be able to line up where these colored pieces are going to go. So for the big ones, I'm using 2, like top and bottom, but for the smaller pieces, the next 2, I'm just going to put 1 piece. And this is just so that they're more or less in the spots where I want them, so that when you look at the card that you're going to see those beautiful stripes where they're supposed to be. So there we go. So I'm lining it up so that there's no gaps, and I'll flip it over when I'm done and show you what I mean. All right. So I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the new catalog. It is beautiful. I want everything in it, which is why I'm a demonstrator. Oh my gosh, so many beautiful, beautiful things. All right, so when you flip it over, you can see the washi tape here. That won't show, but you can see that I've aligned the pieces where I want them so that I won't have any massive weird gaps. It's going to be placed where I want it when I put it on here. So that's the other thing I need to figure out, is where I want this to be on my background piece. So I'm going to be cutting this layer down. And we will do, let's make the layer the full size of the card. So I'm going to go 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. I'm just going to cut that piece first so that I've got a bigger piece to work with in my scraps. And then 5 1/2. Oh goodness, I did it the wrong way. Let me just grab another one. I did the wrong orientation on that. But that's okay. You can do a coordinating envelope with that other piece. That'll look good. So this paper pack, actually, it's 48 sheets of 6x6. So there's quite a few sheets of each, which is nice. So 4 1/4. Is that right? No, I want it to be, this is my long side. So my 4 1/4 is here. What was I thinking? My goodness. There we go. And then 5 1/2. I'll keep that one handy so that we can do the envelope real quick afterwards, because that's fun. All right, so I'm gonna put it kind of here. So let's get the back of these nice and sticky. I'm going to use a little bit of double-sided tape. And I'm going to supplement with some of my liquid glue. I just want the really strong double-sided tape down. It's really going to grip, and I don't have to wait too long for the liquid glue to set, and then we'll be good to go. Now, the reason I'm using liquid glue as well is so that I don't have too many gaps, because I'm going to be adding some sparkles and some other bits to this, and I don't want them to get underneath, right? I want them to be on top and stay there. So that's why I'm taking my glue just a tiny bit. I'm not putting a ton, but I'm putting it right to the, or as close to the edges as I can. Again, I don't want it oozing out, because then my sparkles are going to stick to that, and I don't want that either. I don't want them moving around. I'm going to remove my double-sided tape bits here. Try not to stick my fingers in the glue. So this is just my trick to get these bottom pieces lined up or where I want them. Okay. There we go. I'm going to leave this alone for a minute, and we're going to make a cloud. As soon as I find my, oh my goodness. I'm organized, I swear. There it is. Okay, so this is another new item. It's a cloud punch. It is sold on its own. So I'm just gonna punch a cloud. And I'm actually gonna use it for my sentiment. But you can do all kinds of things with these clouds. They're super fun. So now we've got a circle here that I've already cut out that I did earlier with my layering circle dies. So I'm gently just pulling off our window sheet piece from our stripes. There we go. That even looks kind of cool on its own. But we are going to put this piece back on, and it's going to be super fabulous. All right. So now the washi tape's gone. I've got my top piece. We've got our stripes where we want them. This is going to line up lovely. So what we need to do now is make that box so that our shaker shapes from the annual catalog and the brand new Sparkle and Shine sequins assortments, the sequins will be able to move around, right? So to do that, I'm using my foam adhesive strips. That's these guys. They are slightly thicker than the dimensionals, which I had forgotten and learned the hard way on this card. I don't know, you can't see it, but there's a couple of dimensionals that I put down that just brought everything down. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not what I wanted. So I don't recommend you do that. So what I'm going to do, so I'm working with some really narrow areas. That is going to be a bit of a challenge, but I can overcome. So I'm just peeling off the strip. I'm going to start with my narrowest spot because it's the most stressful. So I really don't want it sticking out because, well, it's white. That's not going to look nice. So I think I've got it. Yeah, I'm good. All right. So I could carry it in so that I don't have as much going on there, but I didn't, and that's okay. So it's just foam, so it's easy to cut. Oop, sorry about my head there. Okay, and I've got another super skinny area coming up. And you really don't want any gaps, because if you have a gap, your sparkles are going to fall out. So excuse my head, I need to get this super close and precise. So this is the one area where I'm like, I'm gonna be able to see that, and it's gonna drive me batty, but hopefully no one else will notice. And it is just a tiny, tiny area. All right, oh, there's gonna be another one near the top too. So a little learning moment is to leave yourself a bit of a gap. If you want to use your negative piece as your front piece, just leave yourself a bit of a gap so that your foam won't show. I'm actually going to try to see if I can cut the excess. I took it to the outside instead of the inside, so it won't show through the window. And I did that intentionally so that I can try to attack it with my snips. So I've got some left over here. As I mentioned, the dimensionals are going to poke out. So I'm just going to add a little bit more of this just to keep it from sagging down. But there's no sparkles involved here or sequins, so it doesn't matter that it's open. And I just restick what's left onto my strip. I've had this for ages. It's lasts quite a while depending on how many of these cards you're making. So there's a tiny bit here sticking out, which I'm not, obviously don't want. So I'm going to try to get in there and cut it without cutting the actual edge. So I don't think that'll show. We'll be good. All right. Again, I'm sorry if my head was in the way. So now we've got our little box. Before I seal it down, I'm going to actually put my sequins and shaker shapes down. So you don't need a ton, especially that I'm putting both. I'm just going to make sure these guys are fairly flat so that they can move about once this is assembled. So I'm using this gorgeous celebration paper, but you could really do this with regular cardstock as well. Just wanted to show you this gorgeous paper while it's available. So these ones are sticky. They're staticky. I haven't figured out how to remove the static yet. I kind of want to try something with a dryer sheet, but I'm afraid of the mess that may ensue. There we go. So again, I'm just making sure there's no big clumps. These are really fun. There's like faux glass looking pieces in there, and there's some shiny little metal pieces, some stars that are kind of iridescent. And there's silver ones. They're really pretty. So if you've had a chance to look through the catalog, what are your favorite items? I'd love for you to drop me a comment and let me know. All right, just everything's sticky. Everything is sticky. All right, here we go. This is the scary part. So I want to line it up. Sorry, don't mind my, I'll just be a second. Don't mind my large head. There we go. And now we've got our shaker part. So this really is the hard part. After that, we're smooth sailing. My foamy strip stuck out a bit, so I'm just tucking that in as well as I can, and that's nice and hidden again. And I lined that up fairly well. It's only a little bit crooked. Gosh. All right. So I'm going to make the little sun coming out. To do that, I'm just, excuse my arm here. I didn't have my ink out, so I'm just using some Daffodil Delight and making a sun. So again, I had pre-cut this out, and I'm going to dye my finger while I'm at it, but that's okay. I had cut this out using the layering circles before we started. And I also need my Pool Party ink, which for some reason had felt the need to put away earlier. So the Pool Party is what I want to use for my sentiment. And I'm going to use the same one I used on my sample card because I think it's really lovely. It says a little something to brighten your day. And so you can see I'm using the cloud as my label. So I'm just going to use a bit of, I'm actually going to use my double-sided tape on this because I'm not sure if regular glue is going to hold all that well on the glimmer paper, shimmer paper. So this way I know that it's going to hold. And same goes for our cloud. Stuff is really strong, so I'm not adding a lot of it. I am going to put it right side up though. I love when that works. And there we go, a little something to brighten your day. So I should probably put that on a card base as well. I did cut one of those out and it's handy. All right, so this is just 8.5 by 11 that I've cut in half at the 5.5 mark and scored at the 4.25 mark. Just using my bone folder to make that nice and flat. And I'll use some liquid glue on the back of this. A little more than I intended. There we go. So I'm taking that to the edges of my card, so I'm not going to have a border, provided I stick it on properly. This is why I like my liquid glue. It allows me to just line things up before it sets. There we go. And here is our shaker card. And I'll show you what I did with the inside of the other one is I used the stamp set and put sending you a rainbow of happiness. And I stamped off the additional colors just to have it kind of not be as bold. And I used a stripe of the paper here. I think that's a 3/4 inch piece, just to brighten up the inside a bit. And I'll show you what I meant with the envelope. Excuse my reach. So since I've got so much of this left over, what I'm going to do is open a card. This is just a really nice way to make a coordinating envelope with a project. And I'm just lining it up along the fold mark of the envelope. And then it's as simple as just trimming this. So you need a piece that is, I would go 5 3/4 or 6 inches is your safest, but 5 3/4 by 2 1/4, and you have enough to do this. So I love doing this, especially with, you know, coordinating papers. It kind of pulls the whole thing together. And I've mailed these, and they survive the mail quite well. It's just a matter of bringing your glue to the edge so that it's not gonna get stuck in any of the mail sorting machines and stuff. So there we've got our coordinating envelope with our pretty shaker card. So I hope you like this. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you, and please follow my, click on that subscribe button on my YouTube channel so that you can see when I post new videos. I have a few planned with the new catalog just out, and have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.